Hello guys, it's been a 123 and I'm back with another r/entitled parents. Hopefully when I upload this or after I upload this, I'm gonna get 1,500 subscribers. So I just want to say thank you very much and let's get straight into the video. This one's titled Works Colleague +1 ruins my wedding because I didn't give her kids cupcakes. Made an account for this because I am still so pissed. It's a long post. So this happened a few days ago. As the title suggests, me and my partner had our wedding on the anniversary of the day we met. Everything was set up to be perfect, etc, etc. As part of our guest list, we invited our work colleagues, with everyone getting a +1. One of my co-workers, who we'll call John, let me know a few weeks ago that he was going to bring his new girlfriend to the wedding. It was a bit last minute, but as one of our guests had recently cancelled, I figured it'd be fine. Big mistake. At our reception, our wedding favours were cupcakes in a little box with a handwritten thank you note. As they were the favours, there was one at each place setting and therefore one for each person. Next to the head table, we also had a smaller table where we had our wine close by and a Ferris wheel cupcake holder filled with enough cupcakes for us to have one each, as the bridesmaid and groomsmen also got additional favours. The first course hasn't even started before a woman holding a toddler and being followed by a young child, none of which I had ever seen, approaches the head table. EM, entitled mother. EB, the entitled 4 to 6-year-old son this woman has training behind her. Me equals me. J equals my partner. Excuse me. He's wearing a black top and skirt, and as the service staff's uniform is just formal black attire. Most were wearing different clothes and I straight away presumed she was a waiter or something, trying to find the children's parents. Yes. There aren't enough cupcakes. I'm obviously taken aback by this. I'm sorry, what? I said there aren't enough cupcakes. What do you mean? You're 2 cupcakes short. My kids don't have any. At this point, I'm mortified thinking that me and Jay had somehow miscounted the guest or messed up ordering the cupcakes. But I also am embarrassed because this woman's face is not ringing any bells and I feel like an arsehole for not knowing who one of our guests are. Me. I'm so sorry about that. Are the kids part of the +1s? We might not have put a favour on the table if we didn't know their names. Jay quietly to me. I thought we put the +1s boxes next to the invited person. Me quietly back. I don't know, we must have messed up. Entitled mother. I'm the +1. I've got my cupcake, but you didn't give my children theirs. Me very confused. You're the +1? Entitled mother, looking at me like I'm slow. Yes, I'm the +1. Me. Are your kids +1s for someone else? Entitled mother, no, they're my +1s. J, your +1s? Entitled mother very sarcastically, well, obviously, they're only little kids. I couldn't exactly leave them at home, could I? Me, we only had enough cupcakes for 1 +1. Entitled mother, but my kids need their cupcakes. The older child has spotted the cupcakes for the head table and has started to walk towards it. Jay has noticed this almost immediately and gets up to cut the child off. Entitled mother, looking at me and not her child. Surely you have some cupcakes for the children. Me, side-eyeing the older child. We did, but only for the kids we knew were coming, miss. Entitled mother, well, then why didn't you know my kids were coming? Me, utterly flabbergasted by this question. We weren't told about them? Entitled mother, well, then you should have had spare cupcakes in case of people not being able to find babysitters. It's hard to find a babysitter with only a month's worth of notice. Me and Jay had sent out our save the dates over 2 years ago. Me, I'm sorry miss, but I'm not even sure whose plus you are and I'm cut off by the other child shrieking. I look back over and Jay has picked up the boy, who has one corner of the tablecloth still clenched in his grubby little hands. Jay thankfully had yanked the kid away very far so only one bottle was knocked over by the kid pulling it. EM, what on earth are you doing to EB? Jay, he was pulling on the table. He was going to pull everything off of it. I quickly rushed to my feet. One of the groomsmen who had been standing nearby has also rushed over to try and help. EM puts a toddler down and also rushes over. Entitled mother, put down Evie right now. What the beep are you doing? J, tell him to let go of the tablecloth then. He could have gotten hurt. Entitled mother apparently then spotted our cupcake stand that was teetering dangerously with all the tablecloth pulling. Entitled mother, there, see? He only wanted a cupcake. You're hogging them all. Me, dude, those are for the head table. They're our cupcakes. Entitled mother, you guys are adults. You don't need cupcakes. Me, I fucking paid for them. At this point, the groomsman is trying to pry Evie's fingers off the tablecloth as Jay tried to keep him from trashing. My maid of honor had also appeared at some point and was on the other side of the table attempting to keep the tablecloth from moving. Entitled mother, he's just a child. What else is he meant to do? Me, not just take things that aren't his. He's old enough. Haven't you taught him anything? EM shrieks, are you trying to tell them I'm a bad mother? Me, I don't care if you are or not. Your child is going to break everything. EM, just give me a cupcake. You're being so selfish. Me, what the beep? At this point, me, J, EM, my maid of honor, 2 groomsmen, a few other guests, and a couple of employees were crowded around our side table. All the while, Evie is wailing at the top of his lungs. People who aren't even in the room at the time had come rushing in to see what all the fuss is about, and I was kind of self-conscious that all my friends and family were watching me cuss at this beep, but also too angry to really care. EM, screaming and jabbing a finger at me. This is all your fault. Me, my fault? EM, if you just let him have a cupcake, he would stop screaming. Me, why can't you control your beeping child, you crack addict? The groomsman finally managed to get the kid to let go of the tablecloth, and Jay hoists him up and away from the table quickly as the kid thrashes more violently and digs his nails into Jay's arm. EM, let go of my beeping child. She then rushes over to Jay, pulling on his arm, attempting to pull Evie loose. The groomsman pulled her off of Jay and continued to restrain her, so she now begins to thrash around screaming, let go of me, I'll have you fucking arrested, this is assault. I'm very overwhelmed suddenly as the adrenaline wears off, and I walk over to my maid of honor to try and help her fix up the table. A few more bottles had tipped and rolled off the table, but thankfully none of them had broke. All the while, EM and EB are screaming threats and hysterics. Jay was trying to shout over at them for someone to call fucking security or something, and then I hear someone from the other end of the room shout out, somebody get the baby! I turned back to try and locate the voice / find out what was happening with a baby and watch as the tablecloth from the head table and all of the plates and decorations get pulled off and hit the floor with a terrible crash and shatter. Jay drops EB in shock and EM pushes the groomsman off of her as she rushed over to the mess on the floor. The toddler is screaming as EM tries to pull the kid out from under the tablecloth. Everybody else in the room is silent. I am in shock and then suddenly can't handle it anymore and start bawling. I have to sit down and my maid of honor grabs a napkin off of the closest table for me to try and dry my face. EM manages to pull her child out from under the tablecloth, as far as I'm aware, without a scratch. She then storms over to me and starts shouting to my face. EM, what the fuck is your issue? You could have killed my little girl. I can't respond and just start crying harder. Jay, don't you beep and yell at my wife, you crazy beep. It was your fault. All of this happened because you can't control your beeping kids. Entitled mother, don't you talk to me like that. This wouldn't have happened if you had just had enough cupcakes for everyone. Jay, we did have enough for everyone. You and your spawn weren't freaking invited. There is another crash from behind the crowd. It turns out, in the commotion, Evie had grabbed for the cupcake stand again, this time bringing it crashing to the floor as well as another wine bottle. Around this point, security finally show up. Evie starts wailing again, talking about how he wanted a cupcake. The two groomsmen go over to talk to the security guards as Jay and my maid of honor try and get me to stop crying. EM shouting at the security guards, "They tried to kill my baby!" The groomsmen apparently explained the situation to the security guard and EM, EB and the toddler were escorted out. I don't know if the police were called. I don't know if the venue pressed charges or not. I just kinda sat there and cried while surrounded by the mess of my reception. The staff were really lovely and helped me reset the head table with new plates and glasses, and Jay helped them sweep up the glass off of the floor as I couldn't bend down in my dress. The guests who weren't in the room soon came in to see the leftover of the mess, and a few apologized for not being there when it happened. The rest of the night was nice and what I was hoping for, but boy does the tension after that kind of incident take some time to disappear. I did not see John for the rest of the night, and I only know that EM was his +1 because some of my other colleagues informed me that she had been sitting at their table with him and had been bitching about cupcake situation before me and Jay even entered the room. I just find this situation so crazy, and like, I've actually seen this kinda happen with my cousin. She's just spoiled to the point where this is bad. She's 2 years old, turning 3, and she already drinks Coke, Pepsi and chocolate and stuff. So like, yeah, I can imagine kids throwing fits over these things. And for the mother's point of perspective, you have been teaching your bad children horrible things. Like, I get you just want your kids to shut up, but you need to teach them values. This was titled, "When You Say No to an Entitled Mother or Her Entitled Kid, Then Pay with Your Blood." And it's so true. I don't get why entitled people just get so mad. It's crazy, it's just, you don't deserve it. This one is by Yeetus Deletus, also known as Lovypop17. This is a subscriber, so hope you're watching this and hopefully I don't butcher it too much. This happened a long time ago when I was little. I was playing in a park with my little brother with 2 buckets and spades. We were making a sandcastle and wanted a moat, so we would use the near pool's water for a moat. Right next to us were really bratty and older girls making another sandcastle. They didn't have a bucket and used their hands. The girls saw our bucket and asked if they could use one. Since we had 2 and were taught to be nice, we gave her one. Big mistake. After making a huge and fancy castle for the little kids we were, my little brother really liked the moat. The girls noticed the moat and the main girl, now known as EC, wanted us to make a moat for their castle. Since we had 1 bucket and they still had ours, my little brother said, "Hey, we gave you a bucket, so can't you use that?" Which I nodded at. This made her tick as well. She started yelling and screaming, "No, I'm not doing because I am a white girl and I don't want to get dirty." This made me mad because I'm Asian and though skin color was and still is no big deal, EC then got her friends to destroy the castle we worked so hard on. We had to go soon when this happened, so I just asked the girls, "Hey, we're leaving soon, so can we have our bucket back?" And oh boy, this made her really mad. She said, "You gave me the bucket, I'm not giving it back because now it's mine." Since I was a normal child, I told my mum what happened and she took back the bucket from the girl saying, "Theft is bad, little girls. I don't want to ever hear about you near my children ever again." Which were fair since I was around 7 and these girls were looking around 12 or 13. The girls started crying and yelling to EC's parents, who came right up to my mum fuming. "EM, why have you taken away my child's bucket?" Mum, "Sorry, but this was my child's bucket." EM, "No, it isn't. She was playing with it and your kid gave it to her. Your kids are way too young to play with them anyways." ED intensifies anger. Give it back now or we will report you of theft. Me. Tugs on my mother's arm. Hey, don't shout at my mom. She's bought that for me and my little brother. Now, if you don't know me as a child, I was very emotional when these were a lot of noises, so I was literally crying on the EN. EM pushes me back into the sand in my not wet clothes, making them all dirty. That wasn't the worst part though. She had thrown me all the way into the EC's castle, which wasn't even a castle, just a lump of sand. This hurt me a lot, but this isn't what made EM and ED mad. EM and ED. You ruined our castle. That's vandalism of our property. Now, not just me, but the 3 girls were crying that their sandcastles were ruined. My mother had enough of this. She took me and my brother straight out of the park. Here is the part why I vividly remember this. The EM and ED were complaining about us being our back, and what upset me the most was this. EM. These Asians are ruining our country. The only reason why they're here is to look after our needs. They should be kicked out of the country because of this. ED. And the other girls nodded in agreement. My mother just took us home and bathed us both, including me, very roughly. My brother was so shooken he didn't say a word until the next day. Now to this day, because I landed in the spot where they were digging up all the sand for EC's castle, I had bruised my head with a weird scar on my neck. I'm lucky my neck didn't snap because that was one heck of a throw for a 25-year-old woman. Me and my brother forgot about this for a few years until we went to the seaside. When we remembered, my brother and I thought they were insane. I'm still puzzled why my mother didn't report these people at the park security. Moral of the story, don't share with older kids because they just want to get your stuff, especially not the entitled parents. I hope I have somewhat told the situation well. And to this I just say, I read the part of the comment where you said your mum's not confrontational, so I am kind of proud of your mum for doing that. And boy, I am Asian as well, so yeah, this has happened to me a lot. And to the people who say this stuff, they're usually uneducated, because I'm gonna be real, there's the poor people, there's the working class, there's the rich. The rich people are, in my opinion, are just in their own bubble. So like, you never see rich people around, especially around where I live. They're somewhere else, I don't know, and who knows, probably London, but you know. But like, the point is, it doesn't matter if you're brown or you're white. Let's be real, you're all broke. We're all broke. That's the thing that everyone has in common. You're broke. You might have being white skinned to a rich person, but you still got more in common with a broke person. Because here you are fighting over with an Asian for a freaking sandcastle box thingy. And I just find that so silly, and you can tell these people just aren't gonna be smart in life because they're gonna have a closed mind. Anyways guys, this has been a 123. Sorry I ended on a bad note kind of thing, but you know, these people in the end will hurt themselves. Peace out.